All right, so Alexi, we talked about a lot, man. We talked about how you came up as a young person. We talked about basketball. We talked about this. We talked mental health. We talked about your family, all of that stuff, right? You know I got to ask you some NBA questions.
Hmm.
All right. So first, who did you ever have a moment where you got on the court and you said to yourself like, "Oh my God, that's him"? Did you did you ever have that moment when you played?
Yeah, I did. Um, I did have a moment, especially when I first got in, and it was Shaq.
Woo!
And I don't know who was
Was this
shooting.
Phoenix Shaq?
It was
Yeah,
Phoenix Shaq.
because it was old. Yeah, 09, 08, 09. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I know
Phoenix Shaq.
Phoenix Shaq. I would say Miami Shaq and not Miami Shaq. Phoenix, Cleveland, and Boston.
Yeah.
So Phoenix Shaq, he was right next to me at the free throw. I was supposed to box him out. When I say I was supposed to, I tried my best to box him out.
Okay, guys.
So he just pushed me out of the way, got the rebound, dunk on me, and I couldn't do nothing. And I was like, okay, so now that's what it is.
Was
to
that
guard him.
was that your welcome to the NBA moment where you were like, oh, okay, this is like, ugh, like
I think to me it was my welcome to the NBA moment, but it was not my first year. I think it was
Okay.
my maybe second year,
yeah,
or maybe it was the end of the first year. But yeah, I was like, Jesus, that's how it is to be able to guard him. And I literally just tried to push him as hard as I could. He was just too strong.
Listen, man, Kevin Garnett talks about guarding Shaq, and Kevin Garnett says, imagine you standing outside, and one of the walls from your house starts to fall like
Right.
slowly on you, and you trying to do this. He said that's like guarding Shaq, you know.
Yeah. And it was
A
he's
literal
just so
wall
strong.
falling on you and banging up against you.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous strong. I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen nobody be able to guard him and contain him.
Yeah.
So
I mean, what are you gonna do with someone who, first of all, who's that strong, but also Shaq can move, man.
yeah,
He can. I mean, he would handle the ball, all of that. Dude was he was different, man.
yeah.
All right, so we talked about Shaq, but who's your toughest matchup? Who's the guy that you just couldn't figure out? It don't matter how much film you watch. Doesn't matter how many times you took away his one and his two. Who was that guy that gave you the most problems?
That's a good question. Um, I don't know. It was like some guys that are just super strong
Okay,
and it's hard to guard
because they had the leverage and all that type of stuff, right?
Yeah, and then they were moving very well as well. So it was a guy in Minnesota. His name was Pekovic, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
White dude.
And Nikola, right?
Yeah, probably.
I think, yeah.
He's just very, very strong. Like it was just
I remember.
to be able to guard him, and then he was like very mobile, so he had like very nice moves. So
Yeah.
it was hard to guard him.
Yeah.
I would say like guys like that. Dwight a little bit, but Dwight didn't have that much moves. So once he catch the ball a little bit further, I just let him shoot. Now
Okay.
he is back to the basket and trying to do his running hook. That was just annoying, but he was not very consistent with it.
Yep.
So it was fine. But it's a lot of guys in the paint that was not really back to the basket guy.
Okay.
Most of the back to the basket guy was like older, and then they were out of the league.
Yep.
So at the time, it was like I got there. It was like end of an era, beginning of another era. That the guys just facing up and just play. Chris Bosh was hard to guard.
Chris Bosh, man. Oof.
Yeah,
It's a shame that his career got cut short.
yeah, he was
Bosh
really
was
really
different,
nice. But I would say, you know what, the guy that probably the toughest to guard was Zebo.
Ooh, yeah,
Zach
okay.
Randolph
All
was
right,
just
all right.
he was just on another
He a
level.
bull, right?
He
You know-
was
you know-
he was bully. You
Have
know
you
what I'm saying?
seen,
Bully ball and
Have
so
you
nice.
seen Kenny Lofton Jr. play yet?
For
Young kid
the-
from Louisiana Tech.
He
and
played with the
he's
Grizzlies.
Memphis. Yeah,
Yeah, I saw him play, and he reminded me of him. That's right.
just banging. Like he wants all of the contact.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's an old school guy. The way he played, it's like old school. I like that. I like the old school. You know, when the big man was just back to the basket and do the thing.
And I like to think of him as like Z-Bo. I don't know if he's going to rebound the ball as well as Z-Bo, but I like to think of Kenny Lofton Jr. as a Zach Randolph on steroids. You know, because he really stepping out and shooting the jumper.
Yeah.
You know, so he got a lot of that. But man, he gets at it, man. So I asked you the toughest matchup. You know, I asked you about the superstar stuff. All right, this is when. Tell me about the first ridiculous purchase that you made. Something that you look back, like even if you were to find it in your closet today, and you say to yourself, "Well, this was a terrible investment." Did you ever make one of those decisions, or were you pretty safe with how you were moving?
I was pretty safe with everything.
No Escalade on 22 spinning rims and none of that crazy stuff.
Nah, I mean, I would say like the thing that at the time what I spent the money was I spent $8K on the chain, and I thought it was stupid.
After the purchase was completed.
Yeah, I thought it was stupid, and I also wasn't sure if it was completely real because I didn't trust anybody.
Okay.
You know, there was a jeweler that was doing all the jewelry for most of the NBA guys, and I still didn't trust him.
Yeah.
So then I took the chain after probably like 2 years later, and I got a test in a regular jewelry store.
Yeah.
Some of them just didn't ring. So I was like, this is a high-end jewelry that still a lot of people would like use. And I just didn't.
Like to this day, they still mess with him.
Yeah, and I still didn't say nothing. But I was like, it was 8K. I was like, I was sweating at the time. I was like, yeah, it's 8K, man. Like, why did I do that? You know.
And the tester said it didn't even talk back to the chain, man. God damn.
Not all of them.
Okay, all right.
You know,
all right.
so, and that's why I was like, wow. And I was at the time where, like, you know, everybody would love to have a black diamond, but there's no such thing a black diamond.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, let me get some of that, you know. And then,
man.
and then I mean, after over the years, it was some whips and stuff like that. I got Rolls Royce and stuff like that.
Okay.
But at the time, I made more money, so it was different.
You were fiscally responsible.
Yeah, I try to be responsible.
Chad Ochocinco said he gets all his jewelry from Target. So,
but you know what? It's a lot of players that have fake jewelry, fake watches. Just nobody knows about it.
You don't want to have that Ace Hood situation where your watch breaks on the red carpet. You know, you picking up pieces of your watch.
You got rappers and stuff like that. I'm sure they have fake watches and fake stuff, but then nobody knows about it. You know, you have a whole market like that. But
oh man,
hey, that's another story. I think a lot of people know about it. Some, you know, it's just about the hype. Nobody's gonna go into the club and challenge you to trying to.
No, what is
your thing real? You know, we got guys in the locker room. We had like talks and stuff like that. So I was
and
like,
they knew. They were like, man.
Yeah, they were like,
"Hey,
let me see your Cuban chain," you know, and they were like, "Man, my Cuban is like a little bit, you know, heavier
light.
than yours.
Yeah.
Yours is a little bit lighter." And they were like, "Man, I don't know, man. I got it straight from the jewelry." you know.
But like you got your chain out the middle of the mall. That's what Gucci Mane said.
It's funny, man. But you know, over the years, you just realize that. You know, you don't need to live for other people because that's what it is. You know, having a nice stuff, nice design, and nice cars. Yeah. You don't necessarily buy this for yourself. You buy it for, you know, the lifestyle that goes with it. Hey, I got to make sure I look apart and I look good in front of everybody. That I got a nice chain and nice design, but it really doesn't matter. You could be looking like $1 million and you got some Target stuff on it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's why we see that all the time. The billionaires, everybody that making the most money. They don't have all the designers.
Material stuff,
They don't care about it because that's not how you make your bread.
To your point, man, and it's the same thing about how I met you, man. Like before I actually met you one-on-one, the narrative on you where you just were a good guy. Like no one that I talked to about you said, "Oh man, he got money on top of money, and we do that. They were like, nah, he's just a good person, like he's just a good guy. And I kind of live that way.
Right.
Of course, it's okay to have nice stuff, but at the end of the day, the only thing that people are gonna remember is who you were,
Yeah.
or who who you are, right?
Right.
And I think there's more value than that. Than just having. I mean, like I said, having stuff is cool, but
Yeah. I mean, what's the point to brag about it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, either you have it or you don't. Right?
You know, I mean, I mean, you see that all the time on social media. All the people that brag about, had money over the years and stuff like that. Yeah, it's cool, it's fun.
So you haven't done the money phone yet?
No, I never did.
Okay, all right.
I never will. You're never gonna see me doing that. I think it's stupid. The main reason
Jay-Z said the same thing.
Well, the main reason why I said that is because you bragging into somebody that don't have it. So now you're giving you creating haters. That people that envy you, and then after that you're surprised that you get robbed. Like that's what it is. You got people that when they don't have it, they see that you have it. They don't necessarily look up to you. They're mad because you have it. They don't.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So now they're gonna see you in the street and be like, "Oh, that must be his car because I saw it online. Oh, that must be his chain. That's real. No, I saw it. I saw all the money he had." So then you
don't drop the Addy.
Yeah, you basically make yourself an easy target.
Yeah.
For no reason. You don't have to brag about it. Just live your life. Only you and your peers know what you have. You don't have to brag about it. Yeah. And that's what I realized over the years, like you don't need none of that.
No.
Validation is lame.
Yeah,
the only validation you need is from your family and God. That's about it.
How many cats? And I mean, I'm sure you probably know a ton of cats that have a ton of bread, but they just empty as hell inside. Like they can't even enjoy the spoils of their, or the fruits of their labor because there's an emptiness there, right? And I feel like the people that are screaming online about what they have, they're security there anyway. Because I mean, like I always say, if you have something, you have it, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's go here, Lexi. All right. So first of all, congratulations on retirement.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Man, I mean, to even say that you've done something for an extended period of time, and now you've made the decision to say, okay, I'm done. Congrats on retirement. Let me ask you a couple questions about where you are now. Mm-hmm. So we talked about the NBA. We talked about a lot of different stuff. Now you're in retirement. Did you prepare for retirement before you actually made the announcement, or was it a situation where you said, okay, I'm making the announcement, now I'm going to start on the journey? How did you approach retirement?
So before I announced it, I kind of knew that I wanted to retire at a certain time. Not how I wanted to, but I will be like, I got prepared, but not really.
Okay.
So it was like, pandemic, right before pandemic. And I was like, you know what? I need to start doing some of those MBPA meetings that they offer us. It's free that people do, training and stuff like that. So I ended up doing that. I went to the NFLPA that with the NBA. We did one meeting together to be able to, know what we want to do.
Yep.
One was with what's it called? The guy that doing the All-American Pace Singer.
Okay.
That's his life, and that was his show. He was there, so I talked to him, and I was like, you know what he was doing? He was like, he decided to do a bunch of different training and stuff like that to be able to find his path. And I was like, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. So then I ended up doing this class with the NFLPA and the MBPA, and then I did coaching class, sportcaster class.
Okay.
All the stuff, and I did a 5 weeks internship into venture capital with Rashawn Williams that's taking care of a lot of athletes and rappers.
Okay.
To be able to invest in the right direction. Mm-hmm. He invested with the top 20 VCs, venture capitals in the country.
Okay.
I mean, in the world.
And you got to work with him one-on-one.
I got to work with him, not one-on-one. There was like a group and everything.
All right.
But I learned a lot, and I got to be able to into this conversation to be able to invest in the right businesses.
Okay.
So that was a very entertaining and learning process. And, I was like, you know what I want to do is I like a lot of different stuff, and I can't just be in just a simple one box and be like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Right.
So I was like, maybe entrepreneur is my lifestyle. And that's what I ended up doing, entrepreneur life, and started, building businesses and being interested in other stuff. But sportcaster is one of the stuff that I want to do. So that's the type of stuff that I think I'll be great at.
Were you able to bridge the passion part of it? Because see, for us as basketball players, man, we live on passion. Like,
Correct.
That's the reason why you wake up at 5 a.m. and you train 3 times a day. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not really because of the money. It's because you love it.
Yeah.
So for me, there's a little bit of fear involved, because I'm going from something that I'm very passionate about, that I sleep and wake up thinking about,
Right.
to possibly doing something that I'm not so passionate about. Did you have some fear attached to that, where you were like, I don't know what it's gonna look, like, maybe this? Was there some fear and doubt involved?
Yeah.
When you were approaching retirement?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fear and doubts, because the way it happened is like, I got injured, and then after that, NBA stopped calling, and then overseas stopped calling, and then I tried to go overseas. Being away from my kids was just
tough.
It was tough. 10 months, you don't see your kids for 10 months. And I was like, they can come visit, but they have school in the same time. So I was like, that's not it for me, So I had to figure it out quick, and it was stressful because, well, I'm in a position that I was, I had made a good living playing basketball, so I had time to figure out what I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys don't have that luxury to be able to figure it out. They got to figure it out quick. That's also why you see a lot of basketball players end up being trainers and stuff like that, because that's the easiest thing to do.
It's a nice transition.
It's the easiest thing, and they're still very passionate about it.
Around the game.
And then it's something they know, and they end up very good at it, because that's what they always did.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys also end up being a coach, and then after that going a different route, because they have also passion that they figured out.
Yeah.
But the easy way was to make money right away.
Yeah.
Me, I was in just different situation, so I had to try to figure it out, how to make money, what I'm passionate about, and go 100% in there. Now I kind of feel like I found my path, and that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, man, and I'm now in this same space, so it's really, I wouldn't even say it's ironic, but it's nice to be able to talk to you, because we actually, again, I didn't play in the NBA, but
Right.
We kind of on similar paths in terms of like what's happening next, right? So did you ever have you had that moment to look back on your career and say, I did that? Because for me, when I never wanted to be comfortable, so I always critiqued myself, even when I was doing well. And what that did was it fed my hunger to continue to be better, right?
Right.
So I think now I can look at my career and look back on it now and say, yeah,
I did something nice.
I was pretty good.
Yeah.
Have you had that opportunity? They done, and not even injuries or what, not even that part about it, but the fact that you actually did it. Have you actually had a moment to say, I did that?
You know what? I never thought about it till I was low. I was low on myself at a time in my life. I was low, and then I was like, I was questioning a lot. And then some of my friends was like, man, you don't realize, and I think Craig did that, tell me like a couple of times, it's like, you don't realize, like, you really inspire a lot of people by just talking and tell your stories. And not just that, it's like what I accomplished,
Yeah.
and I never really paying attention to those things till, like I look back of what I have done, not just basketball wise. Yeah, I did a lot of stuff, basketball and BMX and stuff like that. But then as a life, I produced a movie. My movie is on iTunes, and I was like,
really? Plug your movie, man. Tell the people, man. What's the name of your movie, man?
It's called No La Circus.
Okay, No La Circus.
So yeah, when I was in New Orleans, with a bunch of different French athletes, collabs and produced a movie, and we did it. If we filmed in New Orleans.
Oh man, that's amazing, man.
Yeah, so thank you. So stuff like that. I was like, I produced a movie. I can say I did that.
Yeah.
I wrote a book, and I was like, I can say I did
Plug
that.
your book right there. Camera one.
It's called
you can hit this camera too. This is
It's called The View from Here by Alexis Ajinca. Yeah, I think you had it right there. Yeah, it's right there.
Okay, yeah, I would say grab it,
Yeah,
but
it's right there. I can grab it. But
yeah.
yeah, so
Matter of fact, grab it, Alexi, man. Go ahead, and take it, man. Come on, get this plug going,
white
man.
book right here.
Oh yeah,
There you go.
there he goes.
So
All right. So, Alexis Ajinca, the view from here is out now. Go ahead, just keep talking, man.
yeah, so the book is mostly talking about what is it to be different, you know. And I figured like a lot of players, not just players, but people in life in general can relate to it. You could be feeling different by being fat, overweight, you know, skinny, super tall, or short. And I was like, you know, a lot of people can relate to that. And I'm giving tools basically to not let the views of people affect you mentally.
Yeah.
And you know, I figure like a lot of kids growing up probably going through that with the social media and stuff like that. And they probably be able to relate to some of my stories growing up and see how I overcome those. So I'm giving tools and stuff like that in there, and they have, you know, stories and stuff like that. But so I just looking back about everything that I accomplished, building businesses, some that didn't work, some that started work, involved with, you know, closing line, Dear BBall.
Dear BBall.
Yeah, Dear being in B, the letter B in the ball. It's all about like, you know, NBA gear and streetwear, so stuff like that. So yeah, it's just about like, you know, what I've been doing, and a lot of my friends been like, you know, encouraging me like, hey, you did something. So I appreciate that, and it's just mostly trying to be known, not just as a basketball player, as other stuff. I can do other stuff than basketball.
So that's also a question that I wanted to ask, man. Like right now, when you go into post playing career, you have to create a divide. Otherwise, you're always going to be chasing what you were.
Right.
So has the transition been good? Like saying to yourself, I'm Alexis Ajinca, I'm a businessman, father,
Right.
entrepreneur, philanthropist, all of that stuff. Have you now accepted it to say like, okay, I'm not this anymore?
It took time. It took time to be able to not doing basketball anymore. You know, and watching basketball and see all the guys that got drafted in the same year that me and still playing.
Yep.
And it took time to be able to, you know, move past from that. Because you be like, you know, you don't know, but you started feeling depressed because that is gone. It's not going to come back.
Yeah.
Right? So now it's a new life and be able to accept it and embrace it. But now I'm past that and I love it. You know, I love it. I love all of it. You know, like right now, in my every day is just taking care of my clothing brand and my solar panel company, because I just started a new business and it goes great right now. So it's all about the growth and be able to find passion on what it is and what's next.
So, Alexi, what's next?
Right. What's next? Right now, I'm like 100% in my solar panel company.
Solar panel company.
Yeah.
Plug it.
So it's cool. There you go, Shield Smart Homes, and we all around the country. So we just do deals with everywhere, and we're trying to help people with their bills. You know, so as an owner, it's just about like trying to educate the people with it, because a lot of people don't know about it, but it makes sense on a lot of different aspect of your house.
Yeah. So, Alexi, a big thing about my show, man, is manifestation. I love speaking positivity into the world and actually taking action and making it happen. What's the perfect scenario for Alexis Ajinca? That could be personal, professional, or both. What's the perfect scenario for you?
You know, what I manifest the most is, I would say like happiness, because once you're happy, a lot of stuff fall into place. Right, the business going well.
That's a bar.
The business going well. People, the health going well. Because when you're happy, like, you know, you're not stressed. You know, stress is so powerful, and fear as well. So once you're happy and you can go to places that you never imagined. So I always think like every day, don't let the word to somebody else affect you. But
Just cheers to what you're about to do, man, because like you said, you've already envisioned what's coming next and you put it into motion. So cheers to a prosperous future. Cheers to dinner, because I think all of us are hungry.
yeah,
Shout out to Proper Kickback.
cheers to the podcast too.
Yeah. Cheers to the podcast. We got it going.
Yeah,
And also, it costs nothing to be good to someone. Be good to someone today. I'm your host, Rob Fields. He's Alexis Ajinca. And we're on summer vacation. All right, peace out. See you on the next one.
peace.
It's a wrap.